But yeah, I feel like the story is really good in the campaigns, especially like the human campaign. Of course, like Arthas is
Of
one of
course.
my favorite characters. I still have to watch a video. There's a video like 2 hours of discussing his lore, because I don't know what happens with him after the Warcraft story, because supposedly all the storyline of Warcraft 3 goes on in World of Warcraft, which, yeah, I've never really played.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so I guess we could go campaign by campaign and just discuss what comes to our minds, and then at the end we can talk about it. Which ones were the ones that we liked more, which characters we liked, and which factions we liked. I think we can go that way. So the first campaign is the human campaign, which
Yeah, there is a prologue also with the orcs.
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, there's a prologue, yes, with the orcs. That's a short, like less than 2 hour introduction.
Yeah, it's a small one. Yeah, yeah.
It's more of a, like, it serves two purposes. Just it serves also the purpose of the game showing you the prophet, right? The prophet is basically Gandalf. He's trying to gather all the good factions. You're gonna see a lot of Lord of the Rings parallels in this game, because this game, like the lore of this game, is probably heavily influenced by Lord of the Rings and the works of Tolkien. And I think initially this game and StarCraft, they were supposed to be Warhammer games. So Warcraft was supposed to be a fantasy, like the fantasy Warhammer that we have in Total War. And then StarCraft was supposed to be a Warhammer 40k, but they couldn't get the license or something like that, so they just went with their own stuff. But the general idea is that the story, the characters, the factions, of course, they are heavily influenced.
Yeah, the factions are literally the same, more or less.
Yes,
You have dwarves, humans, orcs, and elves. What else do you need?
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid and I started... Because first... Wait, what came first? Yeah, I definitely played Warcraft 3 before I watched the Lord of the Rings movies. But it blew my mind when I watched the Lord of the Rings movies and I saw, oh, these are the orcs. Oh, those look the undead from the mountains. Such stuff like that. It's very obvious.
And of course, Aragorn is Arthas.
Well, up to a certain point, I guess you can say that. Yeah,
of course.
Yeah. So let's start with the human campaign. Let's actually, okay, the prologue.
Yeah, the prologue doesn't. Yeah.
Not much to talk about it there. We're gonna come back to Thrall when we talk about the orc campaign. It's a good introduction just to show you the basic movements, the basic stuff like building a barrack, building a grunt, stuff like that, and then it jumps into the actual game.
I will tell you, more or less, the prologue ties to the rest of the story, because in chapter 4 it's when the orcs have left and they are going to Kalimdor. So that's how it connects, because at the prologue they leave because of the prophet and they are going to Kalimdor continent, as far as I read. And then starts the human campaign, which is my favorite one.
Yeah.
And the one that I gave the most, focus, because during when we played multiplayer, I only played as the humans.
Yeah.
The rest of the factions are too much for me. So, yeah. In the human campaign, the story is very well written.
Okay.
However, what I want to note is that since we're reviewing the reforged version of the game, as far as I've written also, when they sold the game, they say
it was a clusterfuck. It was a clusterfuck. I remember when it launched, because I paid very close attention to it, because I was like, I told you, I fucking live Warcraft. They fucked it up so badly because well, they blame the fans as well, because somewhat naturally, even at that time in 2020, like, people were starting to turn on Blizzard, because it's not the Blizzard that we used to love, and they used to be the goats of RTS games. That wasn't the case in 2020 anymore. So when people found out that they were gonna do a remake of Warcraft 3, they were, like, understandably so, they were a little bit nervous. So they also say that it was because of the fans, but there's also reports. I tried to read into it a little bit, not too much, but just some notes. Resources were also a problem. They were either the resources were either pulled while they were developing it or something like that. So there was issues with the resources, whether it was manpower or financial stuff, while they did it, because they promised, if I remember originally they wanted to remake all the cutscenes and everything to make it a little bit nicer. But they didn't. They just ended up doing, the first cutscene that you get when you start up the game, when the orc with the footman and the grunt is fighting, and then the meteorites are falling. That's the only thing that they remade with the cutscenes. Everything else is just upscaled and they made it look a little bit shinier, and that's it.
Yeah, a bit more crisp. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted to add, and also when the characters are talking, they are standing still as in the old game, because I tried to see, the comparison.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not the one who is gonna judge. I am a new player. I have no idea. I haven't played the original, game. So yeah, for me, just as a note, I wanted to say this, but because they haven't reworked, the cutscenes and etc. But the campaign itself, the human campaign, when you are following Arthur's journey to save the kingdom and how he falls, with Frostmourne and etc. is very well written, and I also like when he's about to purge the city of
that's a very infamous mission. Yes.
Who are getting sick and they are turning into the undead.
Yep.
That moral dilemma, and the two companions who leave him, the paladin Ulfer, I think was the name.
Okay.
Ulfer, I don't remember.
I have a question for you. Do you think he proceeded correctly, or he should have done something else?
Judging by the fact that everyone
try to ignore what happens after. Just at that point in time, you're in that spot. What do you do?
As a paladin, I wouldn't purge the city, no. And then maybe that would be the doom, because everyone was turning it in the undead eventually.
Yeah.
So, but no, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
I would remain truthful to my to my vows.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
But
go ahead.
It's very theoretical though. You don't know how you would react. So
yeah, you don't really know the outcome, whatever you do.
And then when you play the mission and you see that indeed they are turning into the undead, you see that he did the correct thing.
Yeah.
But then he got corrupted by the artifact, and then he went and killed the king. GG. Bro, what pissed me off in that scene, however, just small note, is there are literally 10 guards in that hall. What were they doing?
Well, okay, let's I'm gonna pull back a little bit. You said your piece. We're gonna get there as well. Just to finish off my thoughts on Reforged, I do like how the game actually looks with the newer graphics. I don't mind them. I know a lot of people, old school players, they prefer the old stuff. I don't mind the new stuff, but the cutscenes did bother me that they didn't rework it. It just felt like a spit in the face. Like they called it a remake or whatever they called it, and it was barely anything. Not what was promised. You can look up what they initially launched and then after what they made. On YouTube, there's comparisons. Anyway, the human campaign is also. It's actually not my favorite campaign, but it's top 3 for sure. The story of Arthas, it's just beautiful. I like the way it devolves. It's very nuanced for the time as well, and also for a game that is mostly, it's not made for kids, right? But it's made for a younger audience, right? So I think the themes that it tackles, it's pretty mature. Like getting corrupt by power or greed, or like you said, giving up on your vows to achieve something else.
In order to save the kingdom, you sacrifice yourself for the greater good.
Yes, it's very deep.
It's something that the teenagers, always fantasize themselves into doing. Sometimes.
Yes, and if you are still a teenager when you are older, you still fantasize about it, right? Everybody thinks of the Roman Empire. once a day.
Yes, but in order to save also your loved one. He doesn't have a loved one in the campaign.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, there are some.
Anakin Skywalker style.
Yeah. I did like. I do like Arthas's arc very much. I believe, though, what I didn't. Now that I replayed it this time, like I noticed it before as well, but now more than ever, I think, like his changing character, it was like very sudden. Like the first 2 missions or 3, I can't remember, he speaks normally, and then in the 4th mission, even before the what do you call it, the purge,
the purge of the city.
yeah, even before the purge, he has like a switch in his character and in the way he talks, and it felt very sudden for me. I would have liked that to be more fleshed out, prolong the campaign, maybe add a couple of missions or a couple of cutscenes or something, make it a little bit more nuanced, not so like sudden from one mission to another, because it felt very sudden a little bit.
Now that you mentioned, though, yes, you're right. It was very, out of the blue. But okay,
okay.
the way he speaks to his mentor, the paladin.
Yes,
the old
yes.
guy.
It feels like he just woke up on the wrong side of the bed one day and he started talking shit to him. That's if I have to criticize the human campaign for something, it would be that. But overall, I loved the campaign because it shows you the character making difficult decisions, and also I can still remember. Old man talking. I can still remember the first time I finished the campaign and I saw the cutscene of him killing his father. I was so fucking shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What is going on? How can I finish a campaign in a video game and lose? I mean, quote unquote, lose the campaign, right? Because the bad guys win. Like, how is this possible?" And I remember I just sitting there on my ass, looking at the monitor. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah, I saw it coming. The way he entered the city and he looked up,
Yes,
he
yeah.
away
Yeah,
the flower. I knew that it was gonna happen. But when I saw the 8 guards, I was like, oh, okay, now we're gonna have like an awesome 1v8. He will murder everyone and then kills the king. But no, they just literally sat there and saw him killing whatever.
Yeah, but isn't there like I understand what you say when you're frustrated that the other guys didn't protect the king, but at the same time, maybe there was a thing of, well, he's the prince, we cannot touch him, so it's quote unquote their problem, right? Because you cannot really put your hands on. I mean, it depends. It's a little bit more nuanced, don't you think?
Is this the Roman Senate or what?
Well, you can draw parallels from that because that's the real life example that we can go into, where fathers would murder their fathers as well, but sons would murder their father to get the power, or the other way around. So as
sad moments.
Yeah. Maybe that's why they didn't.
Do you have anything else to add on the human campaign?
I must say no. I think
I was also very sad when the dwarf died from the frost
yes
blast.
Yeah. I remember the feeling. Yes, that's true. He was such a cool guy, a good companion to Arthas.
He was my Gimli. When I saw him, I was like, oh, Gimli.
Yeah, but he also his arc added a lot to Arthas' story. He was a good tool to show what's happening to Arthas. So overall, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I remember when I started the game playing, like a month ago, and I told you that the only character that I knew was the Lich King, and you told me that, you will see how it goes and it happens. I thought that Arthas was gonna be the Lich King. I didn't know that the Lich King was already existing and Arthas was gonna be his knight or whatnot.
Yeah,
I didn't have an idea. And then I saw that Lich King's Knight, Dark Knight. Oh, so Lich King is another guy. Okay, I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, it's quite nice. Yes,
now
I think
know.
Now you know. So I think the human campaign also does a very good job in this together with the prologue of Thrall, right? These sets of missions do a very good job into slowly introducing you into the game mechanics, and show you how you should do things, and how you should manage building armies, building buildings, resources, and such.